All right, so the first three is three candidates, second three is three interviews. The third three is three people have to sign off on this hire before we hire. Three people have to raise their hand and say, yep, she's the right person. And the reason for that, again, is we can't trust our own intuition because it's too easy for us to be wrong. It's too easy for us to misjudge, to be biased. We all have biases. So we need at least three people to sign off on the hire. So I'll give you an example. I had one of my clients, they're a tech company here in Atlanta. They were hiring a VP of sales. First interview, screen interview went really well. Second interview, the candidate came into the office, met with the CEO for about an hour. Interview went really well. Third interview, he asked the candidate, he said, hey, coincidence, the sales team is in the conference room next door. Would you like to meet the sales team? Well, think about it. If you're a candidate for this VP of sales position, would you like to meet the sales team? Sure you would. So the candidate said, yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to meet the sales team. So they get up, they go to the next conference room. The CEO introduces the candidate to the sales team, says, hey, take about 30 minutes, ask each other whatever you want. Anything you want to know, ask each other. I'll be back in 30 minutes. 30 minutes passed, the CEO came back, goes in the conference room, grabs the candidate, they go walking out, and he says to the candidate, hey, can you give me just a minute? I got to ask the team a quick question. And he leaves the candidate in the hallway. He goes into the conference room. What do you think he asked the sales team?
What question?
What did y'all think?
Yeah, what'd you think? What'd you think? Interesting. I want to say it was three men and a woman, sales team. The woman raised her hand and said, I could never work for him. He made me feel uncomfortable. And think about that. Would that have ever come up in the traditional interview? Not very likely. Someone else's perspective, someone else's perception of the candidate, he made me feel uncomfortable. So that's the idea. Three people have to sign off on the candidate before we make a hiring decision. 3 by 3 by 3. All right, let me give you something else. Different topic. Performance previews. Just jot that down. Performance previews. So talked earlier, remember the quiz I gave you, vast majority of employees don't feel like performance reviews are working. And that's why many companies, big and small, have quit doing performance reviews. And let's think about that for just a moment. So Drew, I'm going to ask you to work with me here for a second. So,
all right.
Performance review is we're going to talk about your performance over the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Okay. Is that a stressful event for you? If I'm conducting the review, you're the employee, is that stressful for you?
For me personally, I would say no. Maybe your average person I would say yes.
Yep. The average person, it is a stressful event, but interesting what they have found in terms of stress level, the person conducting the review is more stressed than the person being reviewed. Person conducting the review, more stressed than the person being reviewed. So in this performance review, we're going to talk about your performance, let's say in the last 6 months, okay?
Okay.
How much of that performance can you now change today?
Absolutely none of it.
None of it. So we're going to spend an hour or so talking about something that we can't change.
Okay.
How stressful is that? That could be very stressful. Okay.
Well, aren't you given a sense of you're trying to give a direction that you giving them a path that you want to head to?
Nope. We're just talking about the past.
Okay.
And so I'm going to spend the next hour just, up and down on your performance the last 6 months. And so what they found is the reason why most, particularly employees, but also bosses don't like it is we can't change the past. There's nothing about the past that we can now change, but we're going to spend an hour or so talking about it. So Drew, what if we did this? What if instead of doing a performance review, we're going to do a performance preview? Drew, thanks for coming in for your performance preview. You and I have talked over the course of the last year about your performance. You had a good year. Thank you for everything you did. Today, we're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about your future and how we can support you in such a way that you can achieve all of your goals in 2021. Would that be a good use of our time?
That would be.
Does that feel stressful?
No,
No.
it's more optimistic.
Yeah. Because we're talking about the future instead of the past. The past we can't change, the future we can. So I want all of you to stop doing performance reviews. You should be, as a formal meeting, because you should be doing those every day, every week, at least on a monthly basis. Shouldn't be any surprises there. And start doing performance previews quarterly, semi-annually, annually. Performance previews. Okay.